Hi, dudes.
Oh my god, I swear.
Oh my
God, you are ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah, so whoever else like is in here, just so you know, like if you're not part of the show itself proper, you will be auto muted, and we don't remove that until like the show is over.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
If you're trying to say something, that's
it's a no-go. That's a no-show. What was I looking for?
Whoever is online listening to us on Twitch and YouTube, hello. This is still like it's a warm-up stage, so we're letting everyone else come in just to like to make sure they don't feel like, oh shit, I'm late, I'm missing out on like
basically
things.
This is the time Kaza gives me to cover all the mistakes I've made.
Unfortunately, I can't find something big enough to cover you. Like,
oh dear
your
God,
whole...
that hurts me so much in ways you don't even understand. Like, hey Callie. I got YouTube to now show on on Twitch chat, and I think it should relay to them too. So that was fun. That was a fun 20 minutes with Restream.
Restream allows you to do that?
Yeah, they're not very helpful though. It's very I don't know the word for it. Janky. That's the word.
I suppose like they discontinued like the standalone app.
Yeah,
Restreamed it.
They basically did. Like you can still download it, but it doesn't really work well.
Oh yeah,
so
I gave up. So I just started using like the online version now.
You just have to. It's just they make you change with the times. You gotta get up to scratch. Don't complain about having to change.
I just want to whelp. It's all.
Oh my God. Please tell me you put the dog in the bag.
What bag? No, the poodle is sleeping right now. Dad has taken the other two out to go on a walk, and we'll probably give them a bath later.
Oh God.
But
dog bath.
I make no guarantees that the poodle will not make noise. He is pretty calm, however.
So like for people who have never watched our stream, Kaz has a chicken nugget dog. Hey Mary.
No!
She has
Hello,
a chicken
Mary.
nugget dog. Test?
Yes, hi Mary. We can hear you.
Yeah, I know you can, but I'm trying to make sure that my level is good.
Oh, your level should be... I mean, say something again, Zach.
Hello there, my epic dudes. Hashtag Fortnite.
I regret so many decisions in life. God damn it, man.
It's too late now.
I know, right? Well, we've reached the point of no return. Oh, dear God. I can't wait for the ending of this, because the ending of this was just on a whim. Did you like it, Kaz?
The ending of what?
The ending, the bonus round.
I was like, okay, I'm not sure what we should let him do for the bonus round, and so I pretty much left it to you, and that was a good idea, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in some places they call me the man
stream,
with many.
Epic stream.
Oh my God!
It's time for epic stream. No, I want epic stream.
The epic stream is that. Oh my God, Mary. You told me I'd like him. You weren't wrong. You're not gonna lie. You weren't wrong. You told me I'd like him. He's good.
I know, right? Like I said that there's some similarity between you both.
Oh my God! Don't tell people the truth. Don't let them know that I was actually just created.
It's going to go up in an hour.
Okay.
Wait, the Elo-chan comic?
Okay. Comic.
Yeah, we'll definitely find a way to segue into that, because there is at least one question about like what other stuff you have planned, and so we will get that.
We'll see if it gets done, because we're doing a Tesla mech, and that's taking a little time.
Ooh. Well, is it being done right now still, or is it already finished?
It's still being done right now.
Oh, bless her. Yes. Bless Hing Hoi.
Yeah, it's a guy, by the way. The princess thing is a trick. The princess is a trick.
just as much as like people always assume you're people, right?
Yeah.
I love how you said like you getting interviewed live by some strange Americans.
I'm not even American. How dare you?
Neither of us are American.
Yes.
Well, where are you then? I don't know.
What do I sound like? This sophistication. I speak the Queen's English.
You speak the Queen's English?
Yes, I speak the Queen's English. How dare you call me a filthy American? Although most of the Americans watch our show, so I'm just gonna say, Ron Paul 2012.
Don't worry. I mean, we love you. Like, I mean, Nen doesn't mean the filthy American thing.
No, I like American. I like Australians.
He's British. Nen's British.
I'm very British.
Mm-hmm. although he also blesses the rains down in Africa from time to time.
Why do you tell people? Why do you always say that every time you talk about it? You always make sure to say it like
because I speak in like song lyrics and memes sometimes.
That's your life at this point.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember character names now for the bonus round because like I have a lot of images. I have a couple images. I don't know all their names.
Like asks, whose voice is Mary's? It's me. My voice is Mary's. I'm the one who has the Mary voice. That's me.
Yeah, and the only actual girl in like this panel, that's myself, Kaz.
I mean,
and I am not American. I was born and raised in Malaysia, and I spent about a decade in the UK doing like for school studies. But then yes, and then I Brexited because thank you, Theresa May, jobs are hard shit to find.
Don't say you Brexited. What the fuck is this? Oh god, don't remind me of Brexit. I don't want to think of these things. I'm too old. I've lived too short.
They really can't deal. Like, oh my god.
Oh my god, yes. Oh wait, most of the people are watching on YouTube. I just realized. Shit.
Why?
Because like I was like, oh yeah, I need to set up all the moderation stuff. I was like, did I set up moderation stuff on YouTube? Yes. Is it good? Not the best. It's fine. I just saw someone say how
YouTube moderation works.
Yeah, pretty much. I saw someone said, "Hey Mary, where can we find the exclusive webcomic you talked about in Discord? The Faku exclusive. Why did you make a Faku exclusive?"
Actually, the artist who was supposed to be doing the Faku exclusive webcomic is the one doing the Internet Explorer webcomics instead. We just kind of got tired of the project, so we put it on indefinite hold, and now we're doing Internet Explorer instead. I mean, and since then, my popularity doubled, so I don't really mind.
I'm just gonna say, boobs don't sell as much as Internet Explorer memes.
Apparently not.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm going through all their names. Okay, I know some of them now, but I just have a bunch of images. Everyone keeps typing. Before the stream started, right? There were like 4 people in chat, and they didn't stop typing boobs. And you know what? I don't mind, but it was really weird.
Well, I did do an epic plug for the stream, so I think we should have a few extra.
Why do you sound like Ali A?
I don't know.
Who's that?
He's a big Fortnite Fortnite YouTuber.
Hashtag Fortnite, my dudes.
Oh my gosh.
Then we gotta get the epic bass in here. Like,
oh dear God.
What is the intro? That intro.
Oh, the intro. Oh, we don't have an intro.
It's horrible intro.
It's just music. We don't have an intro.
It's just noise.
It's beautiful elevator music that we play to ask the next like.
I don't think Ali A's intro is beautiful.
Ali A's intro is terrifying.
let me look that up. Guys.
How have you not seen Ali A's intro? Wait,
I have.
Alistair Aiken, better known by his online, alias Ali A, is a British producer, new Call of Duty. Okay, so.
By the way, he's not British anymore. We disowned him. Just gonna say this: he's been disowned.
What the hell? There's a 10-hour version.
By the way, white flags. The reason we have the restream bot is mostly because people on YouTube sometimes want to know what happens. I didn't expect the opposite to happen, where there are more people on YouTube than on Twitch.
I love you.
Who are you talking to, your dog?
My co-host, ECK Beats, who's in the chat.
You don't tell me.
The reason why it's on YouTube, like people are more on YouTube, is because Mary plugged the YouTube link.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. Like, I was just wondering because my brain was like, usually people kind of go to Twitch.
No, I don't like Twitch.
Why are you Twitchers?
For reasons. Well, it's too like. Okay, so everyone has a YouTube account. Not everyone has a Twitch account.
That's actually
I want to get everyone in chat.
That's a very good point, actually. The main reason we did YouTube was because we had a lot of people that would be like, I want to talk, but I don't want to make a Twitch account. I'm like, you know what? Fair enough.
Merryweather is an imperialist. He likes monopolies. He's a very hardcore big business guy.
I love how someone.
What is this?
I don't know. Somebody on YouTube was just like, what do you call it? What is the Twitch? Oh, what is Twitch stream name? Let me get you the link. Let me just get.
You can't see it, but I'm dabbing.
Stop dabbing. This is a crime. Oh. Also, yes, he got disowned like David Cameron. That is exactly what happened. I like how informed you are, my friend.
Hello, Het. Hello, Mirko.
That's the link for Twitch for anyone who wants it to switch to Twitch.
Well, we can see both chats in the stream, so I'm still going to be able to answer all of them.
Yeah,
so whatever you guys prefer.
Part. No, it's just because when it comes to moderating, we're like, I have two screens up all the time.
Kazuto Yakushi asks, Mary, will you marry me, Mary? Depends on how much money you have, I gotta say.
He's a gold digger. It's just the way it is.
You've got to have at least double as much as me, and I'm not going to tell you how much that is, so people start bidding.
Yeah, she's a trifling.
Why are you singing this song? Since when did you become gangster?
That's not gangster, okay? The original one was not a gangster song, and then Kanye went and sampled it.
Yeah, because Kanye's the best.
Now I ain't saying she's a gold digger.
All I'm gonna say is like I actually don't like Kanye West. And that's either going to raise our views up by like 20 or drop them by 60. There is no in between.
says Mary is married to the internet. That is true, Easy. That is 100% true.
Oh, God. I like the fact that you're using Internet Explorer for a comic, by the way. I'm just going to say before we start. Because I'm one of the few people left who actually still has an actual use for Internet Explorer. Yeah.
What's your use?
Yeah, I use it whenever I open. Yeah, more or less, but mostly because like I use it as the backend for sometimes when I make an app and I need a quick browser in it. Instead of coding a browser, you can just put Internet Explorer in with C#. So and it does the job sometimes.
Yep,
that's cool.
Oh God, someone asked
Fortnite. Can we play Fortnite on Internet Explorer? Can we play Fortnite, please?
I mean, technically, there's this thing called Rainmaker or something like that. It lets you stream any game you have. So yeah, you can play Fortnite.
I want to play Fortnite right now.
My word. Yes, the reason why we're still on We're Going Live in a bit, Danami, is because this isn't the actual interview itself. This is just
this is pre-show. We're bored.
It's pre-show. We're just chilling out for now, just to let everyone have a chance to like come in.
Wait, we didn't start yet?
No, not yet. Like,
that explains why you guys weren't responding to me while I was sitting in voice chat talking to myself half an hour ago.
You what?
He didn't. Just don't listen. I was doing that half an hour ago, and then typing in Twitch chat. People in Twitch chat were talking to WCHubcast. That was me, and it was just me sitting like, "Hello" to the person writing. You can read this, Kaz. I'm not on this. What does that say? It's all Japanese. The Japanese.
The Japanese. That's
25. It's a person who's from Japan apparently. So I'm just going to say Konnichiwa, TV-Tam-san.
I'm the only non-weeb here.
Oh, Genki desu ka?
Is that actually someone from Japan?
Probably. I don't know. I speak French. Yeah. Don't stretch my linguistic skills. You just say parlez-vous français, frère?
No, I said voulez-vous au revoir ce soir?
Oh, what's good?
Isn't there voulez-vous
did you say
coucher avec moi?
Yeah.
That's the one. Sorry.
What were you saying?
I learned it at the film festival in France.
Okay. Look, this is the problem, right?
A very drunk evening.
At the Calais Film Festival? Is that where you went to?
Cannes.
The Cannes Film Festival. I don't know why I said Calais. I'm thinking somewhere.
Yeah.
Calais,
California.
Yeah, no, I said Calais, like Calais. Je ne sais pas.
Calais is like that port, okay?
Yeah, yes, I know. My brain just like
ferry and shit.
My brain is thinking of the wrong place. Not sure if Kaza mentioned it, but you have
French history has the best waifus. And I'm going to tell you why. Marie Antoinette is the first Tsundere princess. No one can convince me otherwise.
I'm sorry, but
like we have Jeanne d'Arc. Seriously, French history has the best waifus. No one's going to convince me otherwise.
I mean, just the question I'm gonna ask: do you enjoy waifus with teeth black because they keep chewing sugarcane and never brushing their teeth?
I mean, we can look back on history and consider all sorts of things, but I mean, she still had money. I'm sure she had fake teeth. I'm sure she had fake teeth.
She had the money for fake teeth, definitely.
She had the money for that.
Also, what's his name? I want to read it again just to be sure. His name is Isaac or something. IS2511. I am reading chat, and I saw you said you do speak Russian. I'm just like my brain.
Mona Lisa's ugly.
Oh my god! Why are you doing this? What is the point?
I'm gonna just go ahead and tell everyone.
Why?
Go ahead and say it.
I don't want to get blocked by the Louvre.
Ugly, ugly.
She
bitch.
looks fine.
Ugly.
Hey.
Fat.
Oh my god. Kaza, what happened?
Sorry, I'm thinking we should go live soon because we usually have like we show 30 minutes. Yeah. But we've got a lot of people here already, so we can start.
Yeah, to be fair, that's a fair point.
Hello. Sorry, my doggo just came up, so I have to put him on my lap.
Someone says something about line. Translate now.
Nani the what?
Nani the fuck?
Line.
Is it one of my friends from Line?
That is not
good Japanese.
I mean, grammatically accurate.
Good. At least I don't feel
using Google Translate. Is that it?
No, but Google Translate Japanese is actually really good.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I actually prefer to use Papago, which is by Naver.
Oh, that's pretty okay.
Yeah.
Because the only reason I'm using Google Translate, I'm not gonna lie, is because I'm trying to teach it a language. So basically the way it learns is by you just keep correcting every time it translates. You just continually translate. So if you can spend a year, like what they've done for some popular languages, they have hired people to translate things and then fix it. But for the most part, you can just sit down for a year and you can actually tweak a language to your desire if no one speaks it, or translate it on Google like Javanese. If you really want to.
Oh god! All right, should we just go live, mute us all, play the intro song, and then just cue me.
Let's do it.
Done.
That's what we normally do here.
Finally, actual comic interview.
Don't tell them that I didn't play the intro song. Hey guys, and welcome to today's podcast. I am one of your hosts, Nen, and that's Kaza. Kaza, say hi.
Hello, hi guys, welcome everybody.
You put my head in a computer.
Yes, the guy who has the guy who is reacting so passionately right there is the one and only Merryweather, who is author of many also many webtoons. I was going to come up with a very almost a Game of Thrones-esque intro for him. I lost. I had it in my mind and I lost it. But yeah,
you put my head in a computer.
It's a long story, mate. We have to do things like this. It's just the way it works. It was so loud for someone. I didn't actually check the volume on that. It's my bad if that was too loud.
Okay, yes. But yeah, so Mary, would you like to take a moment to say hi and give a quick intro to those of you who actually for some reason don't know who you are in the chat?
Okay, I guess I will.
I'm so done.
Hello there, my little blueberries. It's me, Merryweather. I'm the guy who makes your webcomics on the Twitter and the Line webtoon. That's me. Hello, my little blueberries. Hello. Thanks for giving me money. Thanks for giving me money.
Why did I bring this point? You know,
and I think he's probably the most extra guest we've had on.
He's so
ever.
extra. I love it, but he's so extra.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, what Merry is known for is pretty much a line webtoon empire, but he has got 2 featured series, which are Winter Moon, which he creates together with Mayui, and the Stream Dragon Express, which is done with Port Forever. And then for those of you on Twitter and like not really online webtoon, you might know him from the Internet Explorer and all the various meme comics that he does with Hinghoi. So yeah, that's Merryweather.
I think for anyone who doesn't really know him from either of those, will probably know him from I think it was Magnolia Online. That's yours,
Magnolia
right?
Online.
Is that
yours?
Is that yours?
That one's not so relevant anymore.
I mean, yeah, I just started reading it like 2 weeks ago, so it's still relevant to me.
I see.
It was probably once upon a time kind of thing. I mean, our producers try to like troll through like how many titles there have been in the history of Merryweather until now. I don't know if they got all the Tapas ones, but they found at least 26, excluding multiple iterations of the same story.
It was terrifying.
I deleted like half of them too. So
yeah. Some of them we could still find, like to actually still read. So I don't know who re-uploaded them, but some of them, like the only reason I found the comic I mentioned earlier was because like it was on, I think it was Manga Dex somewhere, one of those places that like supposed to scan late.
Do you wanna know why they're on there?
Did you put them there?
Yeah.
Smart.
Allow me to tell all of you a very, very funny secret about how you get popular very early on. So here's the thing. Yeah. The internet has a huge community of basically pirated manga. Yes. And because of that, everyone is used to being like, oh, like millions of people, whenever they need to read the new One Piece, they go to like, oh, I'm gonna go to Kiss Manga and read the new One Piece chapter and all of this, and I'm gonna check out Kiss Manga because then all the new Japanese manga come out, which basically means you can sneak your own thing into like in between them, and no one's really realized this. You can sneak your own comics in this, and people will think they're original. Like that they're published Japanese manga, and then they'll like actually look into them. I've gotten a lot of my fans from like these Scanlation websites.
Like I put some of the stuff I was working on Mangadex as well, but like I put it there fully like going, hey, it's just people who it's self-published, because I wanted to see how that worked first. But yeah, you're right. Just getting it everywhere is very important.
If you ever want your comic to just appear next to One Piece,
you might as well, right? I mean, it's a gray area, but you might as well just like make use of it. Right. Yeah. So I mean, I know we've got quite a lot of like questions and like things to attempt to dig out, and like I'm pretty sure some of it you will volunteer on your own without us even asking, just like that lovely snippet earlier. So let's just have a look at like what some of our producers have mentioned there. So but beforehand,
let's do it.
Yeah, but beforehand, let's just for people who are listening on the stream, do ask whatever questions you have for Merryweather in the chats, like whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. Our lovely, part co-host, part production person, Yas, is going to be on hand to help moderate, and she will feed them back to us. Anything that doesn't overlap, we will definitely ask on your behalf. We'll call you out by name and all that. So not in a good way, just so you know. And so let's get to it. Producers have definitely prepped a few things for us. So just to grease the wheels a bit, bit of personal like a backstory for your viewers, anything that they might want to know. Murray?
Oh, in regards to what?
To you.
Well, I mean, like how, people be like, where you from, and like, what sort of like fun things do you like?
Okay, I'm from Denmark, which is a boring little socialist shithole of a country. That's right. I hate Denmark. I'm not paying 39% tax. No, thank you, sir. No. I'm not getting anything out of that system.
Wait, I swear to God.
Sick, nor old. Nor do I go to school.
Aren't there only 3 people in Denmark who have a career from making content online?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a monopoly in Denmark of some sort?
No, it's just that the taxes are so high, it's impossible.
Pretty much, yeah. Honestly, a lot of people, they kind of get dissuaded from doing stuff online because, like, obviously, if you work in Denmark, you get money, and the money somewhat correlates. Like, I was, as a salesman in Denmark, I was earning $3,000, and that was after tax. So can you imagine if it was with tax?
Yeah.
Like, before tax, if I didn't have to? Yeah, $3,000 a month with... like after tax.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what I was earning if that? So like the wages in Denmark are high to like like compare to the high tax, but they're not if you are independent. So the very Danish system kind of like
it screws over people who live alone, basically.
It screws over people who are independent. It doesn't reward independence.
It rewards you to live in smaller communities. It rewards you to make use of a lot of their equipment. Basically, if you want to live in a country like in Europe, make use of everything they have and take advantage of all you can. Don't buy a car because there's a bus. Don't fucking
all of the. Like, they don't even do cool shit. Like, if they don't take fucking 39% of my tax money, they better make some cool spaceship-looking
What the fuck is
I think that's more the job of Elon Musk rather than, like, the government to make cool spaceships.
Mary's so Danish. It's painful.
Yes, but Mary, so, I mean, people seem to be really surprised that you're Danish, or, like, I think more commonly, they seem to be surprised that you are not Josedes, as in girl.
Yeah. Well, they're mostly surprised not a girl because I put a girl there, but...
I mean, people when you make cute things and you have a cute character as your profile picture and I guess it doesn't help that I'm called Mary, people tend to assume you're a woman.
Plus almost everyone like somehow manages to like say that, wow, you have so much different like art, like so many different art styles, right?
Yeah, that's definitely all me. I draw 9 comics a week. That's me. All of it is me.
I literally got asked that
at the end of it.
Somebody asked me a question in DMs on Twitter, and they asked me a question for you, and they were literally just like, "She," and then like he draws all the art. How does he do that? It's amazing. She draws all the art. How does she do that? It's amazing.
Oh man, I don't know.
No,
I mean,
basically,
so here's the funny thing. A lot of people, it's just because I'm like kind of, it's a similar thing to do with like with Apple and what's his face, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is the one who goes out on the scene and introduces it. Then everyone just made a weird connection that he was the one making these things, and because of that, everyone's like, "Whoa, he's taking credit." He's taking credit. He never actually took credit, by the way. He never actually did.
All he does is say, like, "Welcome to Apple."
Yeah, he does. That's pretty much all he did.
Yeah.
All of my comics, if you go and check the actual like credit part, you'll see that my name actually shows up last. It's always the artist is always above my name.
Yeah, like
it's not my fault.
It's just people may probably like don't read well. I mean, to attest to the nature of those people who do like binge read like the easy. I mean, like webtoons really quickly. But now hopefully most people know. But it's not big really, is it? Like what? I mean, it's rather amusing.
Oh, I just gotta quickly press pause right now because someone said Denmark is discount Sweden, and yes, and that's a good thing. Have you seen Sweden? Have you seen it? It's burning. It's burning to death. I'm glad I'm discount Sweden. If I was fully Sweden, can you imagine?
I mean, if you were from Sweden, you'd also be you'd have the most subscribed channel on YouTube.
Oh, is that true? Like, is that true? Like, how does that work? Because I'm not really privy to like a lot of how Europe works.
Okay,
I mean,
basically,
it's a
Europe
PewDiePie
is
joke.
Yeah, it's a PewDiePie joke. But Europe is basically this. Europe is a bunch of people who think that they're helping each other by giving themselves things. But then they're also contradicting that by also making everything more expensive as a result. So they're basically saying, give us money, we'll help you. And then going, but we're also going to raise the prices of everything. So you still have to pay money to us anyway. And then it's a really sad clusterfuck of sadness. And Sweden is also there sometimes.
So I guess basically the value for money of paying into the system isn't always there depending on your circumstance. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I think most viewers would also know that you're also residing in Japan. And how much time do you spend between both countries, and how does it kind of influence what you do?
Well, it's been the amount of time I've been spending in Japan has gradually gone up through like I've been to Japan for more and more time across 3 years. So I went to Japan at first in 2016. That was for 3 months. Then I went again for a little longer, and now I'm here for a year. And now I'm looking into. I'm basically living here now. Now I'm looking into the options of just getting a permanent visa, which you can if you get $50,000.
Oh yeah.
You can start a company, and then you can get a permanent visa until you go bankrupt, which I won't.
But
hopefully I won't. That's not the plan.
Yeah.
It's not the plan that I go bankrupt. But yeah, basically that's what I'm looking into right now. I want to live here forever. I want to go home for like Christmas and stuff, but I want to just live in Japan. I honestly, I prefer Japan. It's like Europe, except everyone's nice.
Yeah, it actually is pretty much that.
It's pretty much the best of all worlds. The only thing that's shit about it is like the working culture and stuff.
Yeah.
People get like worked to death for almost no money, which I don't like. I mean, it's better than stuff like Malaysia and stuff. I had an artist
Thank you.
Throw shade.
I have an artist friend who was worked to death for like it's like one of the artists of my comics. I'm not allowed to say who, by the way.
That's fine.
But you can kind of figure it out probably. So he got worked to death to the point where he collapsed in a hospital due to working in Malaysia, and he was paid $600 a month.
That's
for 9 hours a day.
But the thing is, remember, $600 also like does $6,000 worth of stuff.
But he's worth
really
more.
Where,
He's worth more than the entire company.
Shit.
Very good. Yes, I mean, ignoring like currency exchanges aside, I mean, yeah, we got to admit, like, there's a bunch of like, it is what it is in some places. Not ideal, but yeah.
Never take the number exact, but yeah.
Japan is really good for someone like me who is independent. But Denmark is really shit for someone like me who is independent. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how do you manage to, make it work, like, you know, be there, like, and be there and all that, because I'm not sure how it works. Like, I'm sure there are some people in the chat who will be like, hey, that's cool, I'd like to go to Japan, maybe live a little and then maybe work on my creative stuff, but how is that possible?
Well, I mean, you can, depending on where you live, as long as it's not America, most countries have this option. You can get what is called a working holiday visa that basically just allows you to stay in Japan for 1 year with working permit, no questions asked. Normal working permits require you to actually have a job, but with a working holiday visa, which you can only get once, by the way, so make it count. A working holiday visa is basically just freedom to reside in Japan and do whatever you want for a full year. After that, you gotta have a 4-year degree.
Okay.
If you wanna, and you gotta have like a shitty job. That's why like a lot of YouTubers who live here, even if they have high wages or like high earnings from YouTube or
they work a
like,
shitty ass job somewhere.
Have money, they still work extra because they have to. They have to earn enough because Japan is kind of old-fashioned in the sense that they don't consider independent wages. They don't consider it serious.
Yeah.
So you need to have at least like internet. Not internet. Sorry. You do have internet. You need to have at least a college degree, right, to be able to continue on from that working holiday.
So,
that makes
unlike
sense.
Denmark, who updated their laws when around the time I think I saw first on Merryweather comic, they updated it to include all Patreon cash. Yeah. So basically, like that's what they tax that too. In the UK, they don't know what to do.
However, luckily, I'm not residing in Denmark, so they can't have shit. They're not getting anything. They're not getting shit from me.
He's so angry at Denmark.
I don't like it. You know, I choose Turkish military service over this. By the way, I'm half Turkish. My mother's Turkish.
Oh my god. Have you seen Turkish military service?
I would choose Turkish military service over this shit.
I mean, I think we might have to like figure out for ourselves like just how like dire Turkish military service is, and I don't know how much Turkish you actually speak for, so that might be hell as well.
I don't speak a word.
There we go.
Someone just asked
I still would, and I still would if it means I can just kind of live for myself. That's the thing. As I've grown older, I've become more and more attached to the libertarian mindset of just leave me the fuck alone. Just fucking leave me alone. I wanna just make money. And I want to have my money, and I want to pay the absolute littlest amount of tax possible. If I get old, I'll have money for that. I'm saving up money. Like if I get sick, I prefer to pay for it. I prefer to pay for my care. I have a German doctor here in Japan, and he's wonderful. He's expensive, but then he actually fucking treats me well compared to a Danish doctor who gets annoyed that I arrive in the office.
Before we devolve into full-blown EU politics here, all right, we can do this later, Merryweather. Before we can because we have so much to talk about. Jesus, I need to address two things. One, somebody said, "Who is who?" That black guy is me.
I think yes.
That the only girl is the only girl voice. The really complaining one is Merryweather on the right.
Hello there, my darling.
Stop being
quick segue. So we're on a podcast now, like, I mean, into a podcast, but I mean, I don't think not everyone knows that you're actually a host on another podcast, which is every now and again called Internet Dream Lounge. So do you want to tell the audience a little bit about that? How you became part of it? Like, was it something you came up with, or?
Well, I was on a podcast with a DJ dude, an epic DJ dude from America called EPK Beats. He likes tacos and smokes weed, and makes bumping epic beats. And his name is EC. And we just decided, because I was starting to get to know a lot of e-celebs. And people who had huge popular stuff, and I kind of was like, I should do something like this. So I contacted EC, asked if he wants to do a podcast. So we did an interview podcast.
You talked to two of my favorite people in the fucking world, Chris Chan and Internet Historian. Kaza doesn't know this. Not many people even know this. I really love Chris Chan. I love anything about him. Because when the Chris Chan thing started, right, back in the early 2000s or so, it was early 2000s. I was old enough to be using the internet, and that was all I cared about for the longest time in my life. And the only reason I like internet is...
Why did Lab? He just says, Mary just sounds like he's
I noticed it, but I didn't want to touch it.
What the hell? No, I don't.
You sound Danish. No, you sound... I'm just going to say that.
I'm going to find you.
Mary B always leave. I will find you, and I will...
That's weird,
okay, man. Liam Neeson, chill out.
Have you seen Yala? Have you seen my waifu? Have you seen her? Go to Crawling Dreams right now and check out Nyala.
Crawling Dreams, I think I read that. I think that was the first thing I read when Kazu told me that you were going to be on. First thing I read, because I was like, let's see how scary the horror is, because I really like horror, but most of Webtoon doesn't make scary horror. No one really makes scary horror. I don't know why.
I mean, barring I don't know, where does Bastard fall under that?
Bastard is
Crawling Dreams is drawn by Usimi, who is a wonderful character artist. But here's the thing: Usimi can't draw horror. She can draw cute girls, and that's kind of it. Her boyfriend Minster is the guy who draws all the horror. So we have this perfect mesh of styles.
Okay, that's pretty good. That worked. That sounds like it worked out really well then. Because it's the thing is, because on Webtoon in general, I just never noticed that if there's any horror or anything. I tried going through. I go through the Discover section, and mostly I'm in Discover actually. I go through the what do you call it? I go through the featured section, and everything is not scary. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's because it's drawn. Maybe because whenever I think of scary horror, I think of Junji Ito. And then
drawn scary takes a lot of skill. I think
only person
it's a rarity to actually find stuff like that.
Yeah.
The only one I think who can really do it well is Junji Ito.
No one else can do. You don't think anyone else will ever be as good, or for a while?
I don't know anyone else who's as good. I don't.
Oh boy!
That's the guy I know.
Okay,
he's on Twitter, by the way.
Is he? Fuck, I should follow him.
Yes. Anyway, sorry interrupting you, Kaz. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Well, one quick last question before we which sort of nicely segues into like the whole like how you managed to start getting into comics. So besides comics, I mean, someone asked in chat, like, do you do something else besides it? Like, do they mean like on so you comics on the side, or you support it that way, or what?
I have my podcast. I'm trying to get a little more into being sort of an internet personality. By doing stuff like this, for an example.
I
want to make videos. I'm doing something where I can do like a commentary channel where I can do like a weekly rant or whatever, and then Easy will like edit it together. We're starting to do like where it'll have like a character sprite featuring me, and we're maybe going to play around with that for a little bit. Mainly, I just like doing comics, honestly.
Yeah.
I just prefer that. Yeah. It's a fun way to kind of control the atmosphere and tell interesting stories.
What kind of thing you're gonna rant about? Just sorry if you don't mind me asking.
Like personal rants.
Comic stuff, I think. Just
if it's comic
maybe
stuff.
I'll make one about Danish tax.
Oh
maybe.
Damn! Please make videos for me. Please make videos on our channel. It'll be so funny.
Yeah.
We could always.
No.
We could see what I can do.
I recorded a really long one where it was just me telling the entire story of me and how I came, like, just me telling the entire story of my career and how through a series of strange circumstances I became able to create something that I don't know a lot of people have created before.
Oh.
This little webcomic circle where it's actually possible to live off it. I don't know a lot of people who have been able to create that.
Basically, most are featured nowadays. I say most. I say
well,
that
yeah, I mean, featured, yeah, but like this whole thing about being a writer who like writes multiple webcomics. I don't really know anyone else who's able to.
Because no one else is that.
Yeah, I mean, especially multiple series and then like having to manage different arts most
people write one. And then they get successful or they don't, and then they write the next one and they get successful.
I've seen many people try, but either they don't have the money to do it, or they put a few thousands of dollars into it and then they give up because their first 2 series didn't make it. Like I'm just kind of, I like to say I'm weaponized autism. That's me.
Oh gosh, yeah. Carry on.
Yeah, I am weaponized autism in that I obsessively kept doing it over and over and over again until it finally worked like 5 years later. That's the thing. Like no one knew who I was. I was still doing this for 5 years. Yeah. And then for the last 2 years, I've been doing this for 7 years, by the way. For the last 2 years, it actually started becoming profitable.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you even manage to fund it and learn to do it?
I just spent the money I had.
Wow.
It was obviously like Magnolia Online is a good example of that. I found an artist who was willing to do it relatively cheaply, which is Power J. He's the guy who drew Magnolia Online. Yeah. I found a guy who was willing to do it kind of cheaply, and so we just did as short episodes as possible, and then we just did that one. Then later on, I found ways to get money, and I just spent all of my money on comics. My mom thought I was crazy. Why is my son sending thousands of dollars to a Filipino dude? I don't know. I don't understand. Why is he sending thousands of dollars to the Philippines? I don't get it.
But you were actually working something on other things to fund this whole webcomic production thing, rather than I don't know. I mean, that's good. That's good because I think most people have the impression that either you have to draw the whole thing yourself, draw and write the whole thing yourself, like most artists do on Webtoon, or you become writer and shadily collab with other people and ask them to do it for exposure and gratis. So I think I've met so far I only know 2 people who've actually paid found artists, handpicked them and paid them to do stuff. One's you, because you've got a ton of comics, and there's another person I know. Shout out to shout out to Rainbow Pegasus, who is who has written 2 comics and has got 2 different artists on them, although at less of a breakneck pace than you have. So because they covered it.
Rainbow Pegasus is my bae, man. Don't fucking downplay his success.
but he writes different stuff. Like it's different format, like different genres. So yeah, there's something for everyone. But yeah, like it's good to know. I think that there are two, like there is a way to go about it. Like make good money, invest in artists, and get that happening.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, kind of begs the question, like, what makes you want to tell these stories then? Like, you said it was an escape of some sort?
Well, let me see how much I can reveal.
Like he went like that.
I was never very good at school. I kind of grew up being extremely terrible at school. Still to this day, I believe if you put me in a classroom with a bunch of 5th or 6th graders, I'm not going to be able to follow what they're learning. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like it's like my brain short circuits around it. And because of that, I was always led to believe I was extremely dumb. And everyone, like, everyone was able to follow classes. Everyone was able to follow school. And I wasn't. I didn't understand it. This, like, math with, like, fucking... I don't even remember it anymore. Like, just this weird math everyone had to do. And I just couldn't understand it. I just could not comprehend it. It's like my brain was like... I really
X and it's here.
I genuinely tried. I genuinely did. I really tried hard, but I just couldn't do it. And they were like, what's wrong with you? And I just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. You tell me, you're a teacher. I don't get it. I don't understand this. What are you trying to make me learn? What is this? Explain to me why I need this. I don't get it. Why do I need to learn this? And they're like, oh, that's what everyone says. Why people don't need this? And what? They genuinely don't. They genuinely fucking don't. Teach me to do taxes. I need that. That's what I need. Teach me how to get a mortgage. Teach me not to fucking take loans. Teach me to do real life shit. Teach me how to go to a government office and not fucking want to kill myself. Teach me real shit, because I understand real shit, but I don't understand dumb shit. I don't understand fucking school. And so if they were always like, oh, you're autistic, oh, you're dumb, oh, he needs to go to special school, oh, he needs all of this stuff. And I'm just like, why are you trying to teach me I'm retarded? I don't get it. I just don't understand this stuff. Just leave me alone. I just want to do my thing. I just want to sit down and do my own thing. And they don't understand that. It's like they don't fucking get it because they learned how to do this in the 60s, and it's too expensive to actually upgrade the schooling system. It's too expensive to actually upgrade the fucking schooling system to actually learn things that make sense in this modern world. So they just keep paying the teachers like $2,000 a month.
All right, gonna have to like cut you off there for a bit.
I want to finish this.
You started.
Give me 1 second.
I didn't ask.
Okay, so to answer your question, after that, I just stopped going to school. I just didn't want to do it anymore, and so I became kind of a NEET in my room. At a certain point, I was like, well, everyone's acting like I'm never ever gonna get a job, and everyone's acting like this and that, so I'm just gonna sit here and I want to write, but nobody wants to read my novels because reading a novel is a chore. No one wants to actually read my It's like when I come and show my novel, they're acting like it's a chore. They're acting like they're doing me a favor. You're not supposed to be doing me a favor. You're supposed to be enjoying it. I actually spend a lot of time writing this fucking shit novel. Fucking read it. Fucking read it. And then and so I just like, I was like, people like comics, right? I'll just go, I was standing at an anime convention, I was something like, and I was reading comics, and I was like, people want to read comics. If it's like webcomics or whatever, people don't want to read webcomics. And so something clicked in my head. I'm like, I need to write webcomics, but I can't draw. So I went up to the nearest artist table and I was like, hey, can you draw my comic? Can you draw my comic for free? And they were like,
for free?
No. And so I stepped one side to the left. And asked the next guy, and he was too awkward to say no. So he said, maybe someday, yeah. And so I don't think he actually expected me to actually follow up on it, but I did. And I just kept sensing him. I just kept emailing him scripts and shit until like 9 months later he was finally like, fucking alright, I'll fucking draw one, okay? I'll draw one. And that's how I started.
7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
This artist is named Joachim Waller, by the way. He's a wonderful guy.
Oh. And then eventually, like you learned a bunch along the way about how to and how not to treat like artists to like.
I learned a lot of things. It was just it was like when I was meant to be doing. Like, I was meant to be published in a Danish magazine, but the magazine went bankrupt right on the issue before the one I was supposed to be published in.
That's unfortunate.
And so I was like, well, I have this full fucking 50-page professionally drawn manga. This was back when I was doing black and white manga, like properly drawn Japanese style manga. And so I was like, well, I'll just fucking upload it to the internet. What can go wrong? Everyone in Denmark was like, manga is dying, no publisher wanted it. So I was just like, I'll just fucking upload it to the internet then. I got 700 subscribers, and that was the most popularity and the most amount of positive attention I'd ever had in my life. And so I was just like, I'm just gonna keep doing this. Fuck everyone else. Yeah, fuck you guys.
Wow.
I make more money than all of you now.
I'm just gonna be legit and say, like, I didn't ask this question. This wasn't my fault.
We just wanted to know like how he stories and how he got into it. So and we were blessed, I guess, with this end of it. I mean, did you ever at any point like pull a one, like one as in the guy who wrote One Punch Man, and did the whole thing yourself at first?
I did.
Art and all.
I did. At one point, everyone was like. Well, not everyone. There were like a few annoying people who were like, the only reason. Let me just do like a proper. The only reason that people want to read your webcomic is because of the good artwork. I'm doing a French accent because I think French people are arrogant. So
yeah, they are. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. French people are arrogant.
So one of my housemates is arrogant. Then I was like, well, I'm gonna prove you wrong, aren't I? The gauntlet has been thrown. So hey, here I come. Open MS Paint. I'm gonna draw my own shit and I'm gonna make it good. Okay. I think in the end I proved him right. I think in the end. It's called Spookman, by the way. You can pull it up on screen if you want. It's fantastic.
I swear we have that on the list.
Let's all find like Spookman by Merryweather and like see what it's like. This was back in 2017, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a Spookman, as well.
Around the time when Crawling City started becoming popular.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love it. I love it so much.
Thank you.
So it's on Tapas, guys.
Yes, it's called it's called Spookman, or The Adventures of Spookman. And god damn it, they're so give me your money, don't give me any shit. The first line.
It's meant to be read like, give me your money and don't give me any shit.
Who are you? I am Spookman.
Mm-hmm.
I love how at some point he starts with like episode, and you're like, oh, that's a guy who doesn't write English a lot, and he just gives up the next chapter. Episode, fuck you. Episode, you can't stop me.
He actually appeared in the new Steam Dragon Express.
Yeah.
Go check it out. New Steam Dragon Express.
I think I'm almost all caught up. I think I love Steam Dragon Express quite a bit, actually.
Please say that Spookman is gonna make an appearance in your Halloween.
Can he be drawn the exact same way? Just please.
Yeah, he did.
Good. So I want like all these really hyper realistic looking characters, and then this 2D running around.
That is exactly what happened.
I have never been more happy to know you in my life.
I actually think it's possible that that Paul Forever actually went into MS Paint and did him just to get the full effect.
High level. 0 fucks have been given.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you questions now, Kaz. I'll take a break.
Go for it.
Okay. So overall, with all your comics in general, whenever you make stuff, what do you want like your audience to walk away with? Like, what's your general? Hey, when you get out, think of all this.
I always want them to have fun. That's what I want. I like simple things that give people entertainment. I consider myself more of an entertainer than an artist.
Okay.
Even like in terms of writing, I'm obviously not an artist as we consider what an artist is, but like art-wise, I'm not super. Like I like to be artistic in some of the things I do. Sometimes I just feel like I should do something deep, and I do. But most of the time, I just want people to be entertained and come back for more and have their little laugh of the day.
In the end, that's what really matters, isn't it? When you're making something, just making people have a good day.
Yeah, some people think that's dumb. Like making popular things is bad for some reason. But like it's like it reminds me of this movie called Burnt, I think it's called, and it's starring Bradley Cooper, and he plays like an angry chef.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he has this scene where he sits down with kind of an arrogant chef woman who he wants to hire, and he talks about. Like he's sitting at McDonald's and he's eating a Big Mac, and then he asks her, why is this burger bad? Why don't you want to join? Why don't you want to eat it with me? And she talks about how it's cheap food and how it's like fatty and stuff like that, and he's like, no, it's good. What do you think? You think food for like the populace? Do you think like goulash back in the day, like bread in ancient France? Do you think that's bad? Just because it's like peasant food, it's bad? Fuck you. Burgers are good. That's why they're so popular. That's why McDonald's is one of the biggest restaurant chains in the world. Yeah. Burgers are good.
And fries
are
delicious.
I don't really like them, but burgers are good. Peasant food is good. Think for the populace, pop culture, Pulp Fiction, like Marvel movies. Things are good because they're good. That's why they're popular.
Pretty much.
I like popular things. I like fun things.
It doesn't always have to be fucking deep all the time. Like
not always. I mean, especially because like
a bunch of my friends are philosophy students, and it's just like I can't watch movies with them. I watched Old Boy with one of them, right? And he just talks about it. He just goes, "That's fake deep." I'm like, "Get out! It's fun to watch Old Boy. Fuck off!" Like, because you can't like for some people, you just can't enjoy something if it doesn't have meaning. And it's like, no, everything doesn't need meaning. It just needs to be enjoyable in one way or another. That's it.
And that's why I like junk food still a thing. That's why like I mean that's why Jersey Shore and the Real Housewives of whatever are still a thing.
That's why meme review is a thing. That's how I drop.
Yeah, I'll take a cheeseburger. I don't mind.
Will you take a cheeseburger from?
And here's what I like. Here's who I like. I like. You guys ever seen Kingsman?
Yeah, I love Kingsman.
Oh, Kingsman's fun.
I love Kingsman.
In Kingsman, Samuel Jackson eats cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
and he has expensive cognac with them. That's how you should enjoy life. Good with good.
I loved it. I love how McDonald's is what they order, and then they're all sitting in this expensive ass room. There's gold everywhere, and he's just like, Big Mac.
Yeah. Do you remember? Does anyone remember the episode? First Avengers where Tony Stark's like, does anyone like know where to get some good shawarma?
Oh yeah, the first one. Yeah, and then if you watch the after ending credits, they're eating shawarma. I love shawarma, man.
Yes.
Have you made shawarma before?
When he comes back in episode 1, and he's like, I want an American cheeseburger. I want the press.
I'm just gonna ask, has anyone here eaten shawarma? Because trust me, it's amazing.
I love it.
Okay.
All right, and I think we'll move on to the next question, but beforehand, just to ask the audience, how many titles do you know or read of like Merryweather's? And Mary, we want you to guess how many you think the average is, like, how many titles like
the average person, I would guess about 4 or 5, because they're pretty short, all of them. So if you want to get like the maximum amount of enjoyment, you read most of them. Wow, Firat, he reads 0. Wow, you're so edgy.
Yeah, so answers on the postcard or like to the chat, like how many do you know? Yeah, we'll let the chat like answer that and get on to like the next one. Like, how the hell do you manage the time with all the stories and what gets done when?
With great difficulty.
Not really, honestly. I mean, I like all of them. I remember all of them. I enjoy all of them. If I don't enjoy them, I don't do them. So I am excited every time a new episode comes out, and I always look for ways to make every single one of them interesting. So I just remember because I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Sakamoto's girlfriend. I'm excited.
You don't make a list or anything, or what?
No, I don't. I have them all in my head.
Whoa.
You know, I was kind of hoping you would say, like, I've got this map that looks like the map that Charlie has in Always Sunny's Philadelphia when he's trying to connect all the dots. I thought that's what you were going to say. You just kind of like, no, I just remember shit. Okay, then. Throw all my plans to the ground. I had jokes for that, but okay.
Wow. So, I mean, so I mean, you never forget any stories, any stories in the past, or, like, you never go off any of them?
No.
Wow.
I don't, like, if I ever stop a story, it's not because I forgot it, it's because I don't feel like doing it anymore. And these days I don't start stories if I don't feel like doing them. So most of the stories, I just remember them because they're fun to do and I like them, every one of them.
Usually if you don't feel like doing that anymore, what kind of drives that? Like, I mean, did running out of ideas or something else, or?
It might be running out of ideas. I've had that problem with a few ones in the past, but I've learned how to avoid that when setting something up, when setting a webcomic up, and when starting a webcomic, so it doesn't end up becoming that. Magicology is an example of me running out of ideas, like halfway through. No. Like, you can only go, I want to have sex with my brother so far before it starts.
Hey, look, what's that series called again? Akisora. That went 12 full episodes. 20 minutes each, okay? They did it. You can do as many times as you want. People aren't complaining.
But they had animation, music, and voice acting.
They had animation and voice acting, maybe. Music, not so much. Let's not overstretch the definition of words.
There's a certain... Have you guys ever seen the worst rated anime of all time?
What? What is that?
It's called Mass of Destruction.
Oh my god, please.
When I want to have a good time with my friends, I put on Mass of Destruction. It is the worst anime of all time. Legitimately. It is so fucking horrible and it's so badly paced that everyone can tell. You don't have to be an anime connoisseur to tell that the pacing is fucking off. They had a $5 animation budget for this one. It is such an awful thing. And they couldn't afford music, by the way. So they just had, like, classical music that wasn't copyrighted.
Wait, does this thing have a game? It has a game.
It probably does, yeah. It probably does, but it's got one episode and then they gave up. It's got one episode. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's
so.
You see the pink-haired girl?
Yeah.
Her head explodes. Her head explodes, and nobody reacts. And then one of the characters is like, is she gonna be okay? Or something like that.
What the fuck? Okay. Sure.
I think we've kind of segued a little bit.
I'm sorry. It's just that I wasn't 100% sure where he was gonna go.
You can reel me in if you like.
How much work do you actually usually put into the average comic? Let's take something that's like you're doing semi-regular. Let's take I'm trying to think of one that will take Crawling Dreams. How much work would you say you put into it? Like every week?
Well, I write them in. I write Crawling Dreams in large, in large batches. Yeah, I write them like 4 or 6 episodes at a time. Might take a few hours. A lot of the effort kind of goes into like thinking up the episodes, which is obviously not like me sitting down at a desk. It's mostly just me being out and about and then thinking up ideas.
Oh, okay.
There's no real way, like, I'd say most of the time goes on, like, promoting it and managing it and giving feedback to the art and stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Do you do the Alan Moore thing, by the way?
What's that?
So the Alan Moore thing is basically, when Alan Moore used to work for DC, he wrote, like, The Killing Joke and stuff. On the side, after writing his script, on the side, he left a space where he wrote and described almost every detail that he wanted to, like, characterize an individual. So, like, there's a little bit of the Killing Joke script I've seen that's, like, to explain how Gordon drinks a lot. And he just writes there, put 6 bottles of booze in a cabinet,